Good morning, everyone. I, CA Rahul Batra, Chairman Bhilai Branch of CIRC of ICAI, on behalf of Professional Skills and Enrichment Committee ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast on problem solving and critical thinking for chartered accountants. I also welcome Chair today's resource person, Mr. Govind Mishra, and event enablers, CA Suraj Soni, Vice Chairman, Bhilai Branch, CA Payal Jain, Sikasa Chairperson, Bhilai Branch, CA Pradeep Pal, Managing Committee Member, Bhilai Branch, and others present over here. Before beginning, I would like to call CA Suraj Soni sir to address the objective of the program. Suraj sir, please.
Problem solving and critical thinking refers to the ability to use knowledge, facts, and data to effectively solve problems. This doesn't mean you need to have an immediate answer. It means you have to be able to think on your feet, assess problems, and find solutions. The ability to develop a well thought out solution within a reasonable time frame, however, is a skill that value greatly. Today's session will be highlighted on the problem solving and critical thinking for CAs. May I invite CA Rahul Batra, Chairman Bhilai Branch, to further take up the session.
Thank you, Suraj sir. Now, I request CA Payal Jain, Chairman Sikasa Bhilai, to kindly introduce our session speaker, Mr. Govind Kumar Mishra. Payal ma'am, please.
Thank you, Rahul. It is my privilege to introduce the seasoned speaker for today's seminar. Mr. Govind Kumar Mishra is a seasoned professional with a diverse background spanning over 2 decades. He began his career by managing the family business from 1998 to 2002. Subsequently, he honed his expertise in corporate law while working with Singh and Associates Law firm in 2008, where he handled international clients. Since 2009, Mr. Govind has been self-employed, dedicating his career to training and development. In 2014, he further expanded his repertoire by initiating mindfulness programs. I further request C. Rahul Batra to take the program further.
Thank you, Payal ma'am. Now, without taking much time, I request the man of honor or our speaker, Mr. Govind Mishra sir, to kindly deliver his deliberation. Govind sir, please.
Thank you very much, Rahul ji, Payal ji, Suraj ji, and Mr. C. Pradeep, and Dr. Sambit. I hope my voice is totally audible to you all.
Yes, sir, it's perfectly audible.
Thank you very much. And this beautiful Saturday morning, it's really amazing in Delhi. We are feeling very hot. And across India, I know that this weather is giving a lot of chills to people. Because of the weather, people might be having some different mindsets, some different emotions. And this is how, imagine a factor in the macro environment called the weather is creating a lot of problems, not only in our physical world, but in our mental world as well. Hence, problem is never planned. Problem is an uninvited guest. And we can't say to the problem, Atithi, tum kab jaoge? Because it is up to the problem. Whenever the problem believes that it needs to go, then only it will go. Till then, we need to be a good host to the problem. And being a host, keep in mind, we need to honor the problem. We need to cater to all the things the problem wants. We need to cater some solutions to the problem as well. And this is how, ladies and gentlemen, our critical mindset starts playing the game. A critical mindset starts playing the game. And it is rightly said, Amantram akshram nasti, nasti mulam aushadham, ayogyaha purusho nasti, yajukastatra dullabha. There is no word having no meaning. There is no root having no medicine. And there is no person who is incapable. Finding a word without a meaning, finding a root without a medicine, and finding a person without any capabilities is really impossible because they don't exist. A smallest word of English having the largest meaning, I. I. And the meaning of I, humans have been searching since time immemorial. And there had been very few people who had understood the meaning of I. So I must say, one of the biggest problem of our life is only finding I, not finding Nemo as in the movie. And to find the I, we need to understand the movie called Life of a Pi. I know you all are visualizing all the scenes of the movie Life of a Pi. A young lad enjoying a wonderful family, wealth, health, everything, but suddenly things changed. If you recall the song, one of the oldest song, "Waqt ne kiya kya hasi satam, hum rahe na hum, wo rahe na," the wo. So my lyrics are not good, so cope up with that. So waqt, time, samay, it changes everything. And imagine the boy, who was enjoying life. Suddenly, all the happiness, all the resources, all the luxuries of his life was taken away, and it was not his choice. Hence, keep in mind, problems when they come, usually it is not our choice. They will definitely come because you are born as a human. Be happy we are born as a human, and problems are a bundled gift to us. And the boy in the Life of a Pi movie, you could see when he started facing problems, and especially the biggest problem, a frightening problem, the tiger on the boat. The tiger on the boat. Can you imagine a carnivorous animal along with a human sailing in the rough seas? And at the end, both survived the turbulence of the sea, the turbulence of the weather, the turbulence of life. And it is rightly said, all is well that ends well. So, ladies and gentlemen, our life is also of the pie, pie having a value which is really huge and magnanimous. And that's why our problems won't also be very small. You all are chartered accountants. You have faced one of the biggest problems of your life, and that's called the vicious circle of May and November. May and November. May and November. You all know that some of you excelled on the first go, but many of them could not clear the exams on the first go. But yes, they didn't quit. They didn't quit. They analyzed it, that where they are lacking, and they started reviewing their studies, their methodologies, and they started practicing. They devoted time. They started rationing of time. They started planning all the scheduling of the studies. And this is how the D-Day you all could recall, the D-Day you all could recall, when your result was announced. My goodness, I could feel the goosebumps right now, the spine shivering experience of when you cleared the exam. You were literally in tears. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm no one to teach you how to solve problems. I'm no one to teach you how to analyze things in a critical manner. You are the one who have been gifted with this skill. But allow me to be a bridge. Allow me to be a catalyst for this topic so that I can add something more to your current repository. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's start the surgeon of the topic. Let me share the screen with some content which might add a lot of values to your life. May I request our tech support to allow me the sharing option? Okay, thank you. It's done. Thank you. So, problem solving and critical thinking for chartered accountants. When you focus on the problem solving attitude, keep in mind, I didn't say problem finding attitude, but problem solving attitude. You'll get a lot of positive outcomes in your life. For example, you'll be inspired. You'll be inspired because you'll be surprised. Oh my God, I can think this way as well. I can think that way as well. And this is how your vision, it will grow, it will widen. And ultimately, you can understand where to head. And are you heading on the right path? And this will let you move towards the growth part of your life. And you'll be having a growth mindset. You'll become a repository of ideas, a cynosure of ideas. And this is how you will be able to plan all the processes which we need to fix or where we are not fixed. We understand what are the processes, where to fix it, where to mend it, where to renovate it, where to re-engineer the process. And this will lead to development. Development, not in one sense, but in a holistic way. It will be a chain reaction of developments, and this will increase your creativity. Education, I believe, the first thing they should focus is developing a creativity, but no issues. We are the one who can learn these things on our own. Creativity in CA profession is very much required because you all are the one who play with figures. You are the experts of analysis. You are the experts of analyzing all the figures from different perspectives and the way you present the data. Imagine if that way is amazingly creative, all the stakeholders who are dependent on you. Imagine what a positive mindset they would be having for you. And imagine all the positive outcomes they will be enjoying because of you, because you took the pain of finding solution to the problem. When I was in school and college, I was a part of National Cadet Corps. I'm an ABC certificate holder. I remember my NCC days. I attended numerous camps with the Indian Army in attachment with the NCC. And during the parade time, I remember our seniors, they used to say, platoon, ye kaam ho jayega. And they expected only one answer. Ladies and gentlemen, only one answer. And that was, yes, sir. Once I asked my senior, why you grill us such a way? Why are you so brutal to us? Then that senior of mine said, Govind, keep in mind, life is the same. Life will give you problems, not the solutions. And when we expect, yes, sir, it means we believe in you that you have the capability to find the solutions. Because if I spoon feed you with the solutions, definitely in a long term, you will be always dependent on something or someone or somewhere. I don't want that future of yours, Govind. And that was indeed one of the best lessons of my life. Problem solving. I learned from NCC and Army. And this is the picture in front of you. You all could see that this is the depiction of the entire process of problems. Where there's a person who was enjoying life amazingly, but that person knowingly, unknowingly, intentionally, unintentionally, with choice, without choice, was in a place which was going to change his life forever. Which is going to change his life forever. And that's why it is rightly said, strategic management is both proactive and reactive. Sometimes where we are, we don't want such things in our life. But yes, if you are ready for such uninvited events, your reaction time would be sufficiently and amazingly less. And you could bounce back. So there's a person who is in a place and there's a problem. And there's a problem. And that the problem is a crazy ring, a ring which controls, which tries to control, or which could control your life. Sometimes we are attached to the ring. And the moment we are attached to the ring, keep in mind the ring itself is the problem. So when we are attached to the ring or the problem, we never let it go from our life. But the ring, the person was just a messenger, the person was just a courier for the ring. If the person is attached with the ring, the person could not transport it to the end destination. You need to get detached with the problem. And when you start getting detached with the problem, your mindset will start thinking from different perspectives. And this is what we require in our life, a holistic analysis. And when you talk about skills, ladies and gentlemen, the content, the pie chart in front of you, it depicts majority of the skills which is required in the 21st century. And this is not my creation. You could search it across the globe, and especially government of India has focused a lot, starting from the national education policy to the national skills development council to the startup movement. Everywhere government is focusing on this particular areas. They want that we should develop these skills. And thank God, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India had been a pioneer. I repeat, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India had been a pioneer in implementing these skills. Right from the root to the fruit, right from the students to the member. ICAI has been holistically trying to apply these skills in our life. Whether you call it the engaged thinker process or the ethical citizen process or the entrepreneurial spirit, ICI and the government of India have been focusing and implementing these skills. They are huge bodies. They can make plans for us. They can create vision for us. But at the end, we are the one who can make these things possible on the ground level. So let's take charge today. Let's take charge today and start the first walk, the first step on the path to critical thinking and problem solving. If you start using, applying, implementing these skills in your life, I can vouch because I have done these things in my life. I can vouch. You would be a mind blowing thinker. You might give competition to Socrates or Chanakya. Or you might be the one who can become the torch bearer in your professional life, in your personal life. And this is how galore of opportunities would knock your door. So, ladies and gentlemen, take a pledge that yes, we'll take the first step today itself. And if you want to know how, this small video of a child might teach us how to take the first step. क्योंकि दिल तो बच्चा है जी और learning can be done from anywhere, from any place, from anyone. So let's see the creativity of this child. Now you could see that child, in this video. Somebody might think, what is this happening? But let me tell you, the child who had a curiosity, the child who had a huge dream to fly, but due to lack of resources, the child couldn't experience either you call it a bungee jumping or skydiving, anything, but yes, the child was focused on finding a solution, how to be happy in that moment. And this is how he critically analyzed. He critically analyzed the situation, the environment, and he sought out the resources, what resources he has. And this is how what you have read in your costing, optimum utilization of resources. Look at this child. Without reading costing, he knew optimum utilization of resources. His goal was to fly, to be happy for that moment, and to fulfill his dream of flying, although for a shorter period. But look at the great innovation of this child. The child used the resources, the palm leaves, and all the planks which was lying from the ground to the roof of the hut. The child tried to be innovative, and imagine everybody near that child were enjoying that moment, and they were very supportive. They were not discouraging the child, because the moment you discourage someone, that person might feel that it was not a good idea. Keep in mind, if you can't inspire someone, please don't demotivate. At least if you can't inspire someone, at least don't demotivate. If that person is thinking from a different perspective, from a kind of out of the box thinking, let that person think, let the person implement. At least then only the person can understand, was that idea or was that solution actually realistic or not. Yes, but for this child it was a realistic. For a grown up, it might not be, but for this child, the problem was to fly and to be happy. And this child used all the resources and made his dream a reality. This is what we can do. Some learning from this small clip is: first, if you want to go for problem solving and critical thinking, keep in mind the first thing we need to do is analyze our environment. An environment includes both the macro environment and the micro environment. Whatever is happening in the macro environment, accordingly, we need to adapt our micro environment. If it is very hot outside the house, we need to take care. We need to adjust the temperature inside the house of the air conditioner. But if you're stepping outside the house, you need to take care. You can't wear dark clothes in this scorching summer. We need to take care that we need to wear light clothes, light colored clothes. And also you may apply sun protection factor. You might wear a hat or a cap, or you might have some clothes to take care of your head or your body exposed to the sun, so that you are not going to face the repercussions because of that macro environment. So we need to analyze the environment. Second, after analyzing, find out the resources you want to use the solution, or find out the resources which that problem is actually utilizing right now or is destroying the resources the problem is about to destroy. Find out, make a list of all the resources you have, and then make a list of resources which you require to implement the solution. And the best resource, ladies and gentlemen, I would say the first two best resources is a piece of paper and a pen. If you want to analyze, if you want to critically evaluate, then start thinking on paper. I'll be sharing some techniques, some methodologies of management to understand critical thinking and problem solving. But yes, as a layman, the first thing you can do is start thinking on paper, because when you start thinking on paper, you are heading towards finding many solutions. And as you all know, strategic management says you should have alternatives so that you can choose best alternatives. And that's why our next part is the strategic creative thinking. And I have added innovation as well with the thinking part, because innovation and creativity, they are synonymous. You cannot delete innovation when you are using creativity. And when you mix these two, creativity and innovation, your problem would be amazingly solved. We all are the custodians of finance, of auditing, of a lot of compliances. The society at large, all the stakeholders, they trust us, they have faith on us. And if we want to build that trust and faith more strong, then we need to actually think from a different perspective. And this is how, ultimately, keep in mind, will help us. It will help us to increase our future opportunities. It will help us to grow in a strategic way. It will help us to widen our spectrum of services, our business. And also we can be the change maker in lot many people's life. And this is what we call as the holistic approach, through which you can gain two things: the expansive method and the pragmatic method. We can widen up our visions, we can explore for the long term possibilities, we can be thinking about the short term possibilities, and this is how both the short term and the long term will be taking care. And ultimately the vision of our business, the vision of our practice, the vision of our profession, and the vision ultimately of our life will be able to achieve. And who better than Steve Jobs? Who else better than Steve Jobs can suffice innovation? Because the day Apple Incorporation lost Steve Jobs, they lost one of the most biggest asset, and that is called innovation. And innovation means the creativity Steve Jobs had. Imagine the most creative, beautiful product of Apple company. It was the earlier iPod, the earlier iPod, approx 1.5 inches into 1.5 inches product, a metal gray color product with a circle in the middle, which was the control panel. And before that, we used to carry the Sony Walkman, and Walkman had only one cassette. But the iPad, imagine, because of the creative thinking, because of the problem solving attitude of Steve Jobs, brought down the size of Walkman to 1.5 inches. And keep in mind, the quantity of songs, they were amazingly increased. A small device was able to store numerous songs, which you can carry anywhere. There's no need to carry a huge box of Walkman and a huge numbers of cassettes with us anymore. Just carry the iPod. And this is how Apple created a niche for itself. And Steve Jobs was a person behind it. In our life, as a normal human being or as a chartered accountant, whether in practice or in job, we are bound with a lot of responsibilities. We are blessed with a lot of people in our life, and one person out of that list is a customer. Customer can be anyone. I'm not saying that a person who just buys your product or services. Customer means the person who are the users of your data, who blindly uses your data because that data has been verified by a chartered accountant. Now, what we believe from our side is the first picture. We believe that the customer wants this, that. And this is how we create a huge variety of services or products for the customer. We try to give everything. We try to give everything. But the customer just wanted a simple butter knife. And we were offering that customer a Swiss knife. Indeed, that's the humbleness we have been taught. Yes, but one fit doesn't fit all. We need to analyze. We need to analyze the situation. And when I said earlier that we need to analyze our environment, the environment includes the consumer and the customer as well. We need to analyze who wants what. If a managing director of the company wants financial data, we can't give that person the entire journal entry. We need to just give a one sheet of paper so that they can take decisions because they're sitting in the board meeting. If the government of India wants information from us, we can't give only one sheet of paper. We need to give a lot of data supported by evidences. And if a partner wants some data, we need to give a different variety of data. If the ICAI needs some information from us, we need to change the format and the quality of the information, which is sought by ICAI. And this is how we need to understand that every consumer, every customer wants customized products and customized services. If you could give them that customized option, you have understood that how to find solution and how to think critically. Keep in mind, critical thinking doesn't mean entangling our life in a web of nets or entangling our life in a fisherman's net or entangling ourselves in a huge pile of ropes so that our most of the time is wasted finding how to untangle, finding how to find, found the loop, finding how, where is the end point, where is the start point. And this is how our precious time is wasted. So we need to understand what the market, what the society, what the stakeholders, what the customers want, and accordingly give them what they want. We are B2B people and we are B2C people as well. So when you talk about creativity, I'll suffice innovation with this. And I would say creativity is actually important when you start enjoying the process. Keep in mind, the first point, do what you love doesn't mean that you should just bluntly and abruptly start saying, oh, I love this. Not at all. Do what you love means the things which you are into, the responsibilities which you have been given, and the accountability of yours, which you need to actually fulfill. When you are doing these things, do what you love means give your best shot to all these areas of your life. And I would say this is what passion is. When you start giving the best to the things you are involved in, you are passionate about it. And when you are passionate, keep in mind, your mind starts working triple X mode, 4x mode, 8x mode. You don't know the capacity and the intensity of the mind, how it works. And that is why when you devote ourselves in those areas of our life where we are busy, you start giving everything and you start loving it. And this is how, when you start giving everything to that particular task, it helps you to connect with different areas inside your life, outside your life. And this is how you are the one who knows how to connect the dots. How many of you remember during your school time in class second or third, when your drawing teacher gave a sheet of paper having just few dots? I remember I was like frustrated and I said, ma'am, what is this? There's nothing inside the paper. And she said, Govind, stay calm. Govind, stay calm. Hold the pencil and start connecting the dots. I followed my teacher's advice. I started connecting the dots, and bingo, amazing. Wow, it was like a Pandora box. When I was done connecting all the dots, I was like amazed. Just few minutes ago, on the paper, there was nothing, just dots. And now, amazing, beautiful creation was created on that sheet of paper, which had nothing just few minutes ago. And now it had all the things which I started loving. So ladies and gentlemen, when you start being passionate, you start connecting the dots. And this is how the dots help you connect with different fields, different areas. But keep in mind what my teacher told, the third thing, Govind, stay calm. Stay calm and just hold the pencil, start connecting the dots. It means keep it simple. Creativity doesn't mean that you need to bounce, you need to dance, you need to shout, you need to make it more difficult. Creativity means simplicity. And as Steve Jobs said, simplicity is the best style. Simplicity is the best, or sophistication. It is the simplicity is the best sophistication. When you're making the things more simple, your mind is able to find more solutions. Okay. And then when you are talking about your customer base or the people associated with you or your colleagues or your subordinates, your juniors, when you enjoyed what you're doing. Now you have faith on the task. When you created the solution, when you started thinking from a creative perspective, you felt faith, you had a belief on your own self. And this is how, when you start passing the same solution and the information to others, you are actually selling your dreams. You are selling your dreams. And this is how people, they connect with your solution. One more thing. In Hindi, there is a saying, it says, Akela chana bhad nahi for sakta. It means when you are alone, you can't do gargantuan task. You can't go for achieving big dreams. Alone, yes, we can do a lot of things, but we have our own restrictions. Single-handedly, I can think, but my thinking approach might be restricted. My resources might be restricted and not in abundance. But when you start having a group of people with you, imagine your effectiveness is multiplying. You are thinking, you are working a day, for example, 10 hours, but when you have 5 people with you, your working is of 50 hours. Because 5 people are working, sorry, your working hour is 60 hours, because your 10 hours and the rest of the 5 people, their 10 hours individually makes it 60 hours. And now your effectiveness is of 60 hours. And imagine the result single-handedly and 5 people with you. It would be totally different. So hire people. But keep in mind, you can't hire everyone. You need to find out who is the person who can add value to you, who can add value to your organization, who can add value to your vision. And this is how you need to find people. People usually talk, they say that we should have like-minded people in our life, but in Hindi they are saying chor chor mausere bhai. I beg to differ from this point. I would say it's not like-minded. Ladies and gentlemen, it is right-minded people. If you have got right-minded people, then only you can have the effectiveness and the result in a positive way. So hire the best people. And then, because you are talking to humans, not artificial intelligence. And one thing which differentiates between humans and AI is emotions. Although AI is, people are working on AI for emotional intelligence as well. But right now, we can say that yes, emotions is the one factor which differentiates. And the second factor is that humans make mistakes. AI are programmed the way that they should avoid mistakes. So humans are emotional and humans make mistakes. And when you are talking about people, they actually love the personal touch. Do you remember when you were a kid and one of your teacher, when you were depressed, not depressed, sorry, when you were a bit no facing a setback in life, or when you were feeling not good, and suddenly your teacher came and tapped on your shoulder and told, hey, keep it up, cheer up, you can do it, man. And till date, I believe that you remember that teacher's touch, because that touch always make you feel good. That was the biggest motivation of your life. So meet people, because when you meet people face to face, you do a lot of brainstorming. You do a lot of analytical thinking. And this is how single-handedly, if you're taking 1 hour to find the solution, but when you meet people, ho sakta hai that you might be having the solution within 10 minutes only, or quite possible it might become 2 hours as well. But at least you have a lot of solutions. You have different mindsets, and through which you can find out what is the best solution I need to use and implement. And then when you are done with all these things, master the message, practice your skills, and be a storyteller. Be a storyteller and pass it on, pass it on, pass it on to others. Because if you have found some solution to a problem, there might be a lot of people who might be having the same problem. Quite possible there might be someone to whom you can give that idea for free, and most of the people you might charge some monetary benefits. And this is what we call as consultancy, because consultancy is all about finding solution to the problems of the clients and selling the solution. That's a win-win situation for both the client and you. This is a depiction of our life currently where we are, and what the market opportunities are, and what are the initiatives for our development we have taken. So you could see today where we are, and in the future what the market wants, and tomorrow what initiatives we would be implementing. You could see the impact of this or these on different areas of your personal and professional life. But yes, one thing I'm looking on the left side, that my revenue, my profit is increasing. And this is on the right side, you could see strategically, there's a huge chances of growth in our life, both personally and professionally as well. So, critical thinking is, I believe, a kind of investment for us. You all are chartered accountants who, better than you, can understand the real meaning of investment. You know, when you invest today, definitely it takes some time to gain a no, huge chunk of return. And this is what we call the long-term capital gain, because you cannot enjoy the gain in a very short period. And you could see the last 3 years in the stock market, the last 3 years. Imagine yourself or someone else who bought some shares in 2020 during the COVID pandemic. They bought it for a very cheap price, very low price. And today, that shares price has increased 100 times or 200 times. There are numerous shares which you have bought. But yes, you had the patience to hold it. You didn't sell them. And today you know the benefit is humongous. It is just because you analyzed from a critical way. Should I buy this share? If I'm thinking of buying this share, what would be the future repercussions or the future benefits? And you analyzed the market of that company's share, their profit, their business models, everything you analyzed, and also the growth perspective and prospective. And because 2020 was a period of COVID pandemic, you took into consideration the macro factors in your life that time. And today it is 2024, 4 years. You could see the opportunities you have right now. And indeed, in the last 5 days, we have seen a lot of turbulence. We have seen a lot of turbulence. But yes, thank God, we are humans. We are humans. And humans are the best example of turbulence. And when you are facing turbulence, definitely it is now a signal from the divine body that let's move on. Let's move on and let's think what is lacking. And am I stagnant? Are my opportunities stagnant? My situation stagnant? If the answer is yes, find something. Find something, a different perspective, the out of box thinking. And this is how, again, you can use this chart in your life. And your revenue, profit, and your strategic growth, again, would go northwards, or your life would become a bullish life full of green signals in your life. But yes, for that, we need to understand. We need to understand two factors. First is what I know, and the second is what I don't know. The irony of humans is amazing. You know, humans are we are really funny, very funny. And nobody can predict. I believe even God can't predict humans. We have been gifted with a lot of things which we have right now. But the irony is, we want those things which we don't have. जो हमारे पास है उसकी चाहत नहीं है, जो हमारे पास नहीं है उसकी चाहत ज्यादा है. But yes, there is a saying, थोड़ा है थोड़ी की जरूरत है. That's amazing. That is what makes us human. And that is the factor which says we are not dead any till now. We are alive. We want more. We want more. Yeah, dil mange more. But why to think, why to waste time for the things which I don't know? Because the I don't know part is huge. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that we should not focus what I don't know. We need to find out what we don't know. But before that, the first stage is find out what I know. Because if you're aware of the things you know, then only you can connect with the things which you don't know. If you remember, in the initial beginning of our session today, I told, when I was even showcasing the video of the child, I told we need to find out the resources. We need to analyze the resources, what we have right now, and also what we want in the future. But the first stage is right now, what we have. So the first thing we should understand what I know. Whatever topic you are into, whatever area you are into, whatever venture or venues you are into, find out what I know. Because the what I know in critical thinking and problem solving, I call as the resources I have right now. Make a list of all the things which you know. Make a list. Make a list. And while making this, be a child. Please be a child. Make a list. And then find out what is relevant for you. And delete all the things which are irrelevant of you. And the things which are relevant of you and for you, they would be the thing which can take you to the other side of this diagram. And that is called outside the circle. Because outside the circle is very huge. It's the entire universe. And then my teacher, what she told, Govind, stay calm and connect the dots. So I'm aware of what I know. Now I'm shifting to the other paradigm, and that is called what I don't know. And for that, I need to connect the dots. I can't know everything. Only a fool knows everything. And in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is said, Tasmad Brahmanam Pandityam Narvidyan Balyan Tishta Set. Let a person renounce learning and become a child. And it also says, it is known to those who do not know and known to those who knows. But yes, don't misinterpret this, because when I said what I know, it is the thing which I need to understand. But yes, the things which I don't know, now my body, my mind is ready to accept the things which I don't know. But a caveat over here, a caveat over here, a point to be aware, or beware rather, a point to be beware, that there's no point, there's no need of knowing everything. Seriously, there's no need of knowing everything. Try to find out which area you are into and start finding and connecting with the knowledge, with the things, with the resources, with the people who are related with that. We are talking about now the conglomerate of an individual. And here, conglomerate focus on the related conglomerate, not the unrelated conglomerates. Even in business world, you could see when a company starts business, they start foraying into different areas, but they always believe that the first few years when they are working, they should be first stable. And when they're stable, then they start thinking of expanding. But they always believe that the expansion should be first in the related areas. And when their business is again more stronger and it has gone vertical, no, very the strength is the vertical part. And now they believe that yes, now we are strong, we are stable, we are sustainable. Now we can think of diversifying. We can think of going into unrelated conglomerates. So we should go, being an individual, being a chartered accountant, I believe. And again, we may differ, but I'm sharing my views and my opinions over here based on a lot of observations of my life and experiences. So we need to go for a conglomerate of related things. The people who are into our field, R field means who are into legal area or tax area or the auditing area or the financial area, rather, I would say. Try to connect with these people. Try to connect with these people, because this is how we all can have a good conglomerate of knowledge. And that is how even company law has allowed for the LLPs of CSC, SCWA. So try to connect with people of different professions which are related to you. And this is how we both can create a synergy. Try to collaborate, because collaboration leads to creation of synergy. And now when you are collaborated, now you can see the bridge between what I know and what I don't know is actually decreasing, and at the end, you can know a lot of things. And when you have known a lot of things, it's better to delegate it, because you can't keep everything with yourself. Try to find people who can be with you, who can be a solution oriented person in your life, who can add a lot of solutions to the problems you have, or you can be a solution provider to those people's problems. Connect with them, collaborate with them, create a synergy, and try to create a renewable energy out of the synergy so that you can use it for eternity. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, we need the art of influencing and the art of inspiration. The art of influencing and the art of inspiration. The arrow you could see on the left side of the screen, the yellow and the white arrows. The yellow depicting you, and the white arrows depicting lot of areas, lot of resources, lot of people around you. When you have done something, when you have found a solution. Today morning, I was watching the news and I saw Sunita Williams. When she entered the International Space Center, oh my goodness, she went crazy. She went crazy. She was so happy. And all the teammates were welcoming the new space travelers. They welcomed with real happiness. They went crazy. They hugged each other. And for the people on the earth, these people are actually the influencers. These people are actually the inspirations of lot many people. Today, Kalpana Chawla is physically not present on the earth. But yes, for many people, and especially I would say girls, she had been and she will remain a person of great influence and an inspiration. Kiran Bedi, Indira Gandhi, the Swami Vivekanand, Chanakya, Socrates, Leonardo da Vinci, they were the influencers. They were the inspirational people. Sri Aurobindo, the person who gave the idea of adding the Garuda as the emblem of ICAI in 1949. He was an inspiration, and till date, all these names which I took, they are inspiration. Swami Vivekanand ji physically is not present, but he is the ideal of India. He is the mascot of youth inspiration even today. And how can you forget that historical speech of 1893? My dear brothers and sisters of America. And that speech was astoundingly outstanding. And the creation of the legend started from there. So, ladies and gentlemen, the yellow is you, an influencer, not in the social media, but in the real media of life. An inspiration to yourself, to your fraternity, to your family, to your subordinates, to your juniors, to lot many unknown people. You have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders, because you are the one who will be taking a lot of people towards the success just because of your skill of inquisitiveness. just because of your skill of curiosity, just because of your skill of finding solution to all the problems, and in a creative way. Quite possible you might have faced someone in your life, either in profession or personal, who had a theme of life called Bane Raho Pagla, Kaam Kare Agla. Don't be that person. And how to find out that how can I be the inspiration, or I can be influencing people in a creative way, or even you can be your own inspiration. There's a small technique called brain, BRAIN, brain. When you start using the brain technique in your physical brain, through the thinking mind, the reasoning mind, through the logical mind, you can easily find out, or you can create the chart or problem solution approach. You can use the path of creativity. You can use the path of analytical thinking. B, called bridging. Bridging, the best way of bridging with self and the other self is called the art of questioning. The art of questioning. When you start questioning, you are opening lot of avenues, and questions will help you to travel to different places. Start questioning not only others. The first question you should ask yourself. You should ask yourself, why should I do this? What I need, when to do, where to do, how to do. And this is how you start connecting with new ideas. You start building relationships. So start questioning. And if somebody in your team is raising questions, asking questions, please support them. You should be happy at least you have humans in your team who are questioning. And as Socrates said, that questioning is the art which can lead to solutions. As Chanakya always promoted the art of questioning, and our Indian scriptures examples where even the young questioned the elders. One small example for this is Ashtavakra. Those who have read Ashtavakra Gita, and those who are not known to this, no issues. Ashtavakra was a child, 12 years young, having 8 deformities in his body. But yes, he always questioned his mother. Where is my father? He always questioned why my father didn't come. He always questioned everyone. And this is how he went in the court of Raja Janak. And he questioned that I want to do the Shastrarth. And when people questioned about the age, he said, knowledge is not about the age. It is about my acknowledgement of myself. The second is called rationalizing. And the wonderful thing, you know what, when you start questioning, actually, you have headed towards the path of rationalizing, because now questioning leads to finding the logics. It's just like the computer, which has got the logical mind. You give a problem to the computer, or the chatbots, or the chat GPT, or the Google, or all the technological purposes, things you're using today. Give them problems. And the problems are actually the logical equations which you are giving to the Google or the computer, and they try to find out the answer in a logical way. They find out the answer with supported facts and figures and datas. For example, I interact with a lot of young chartered accountants and ask them a question. Hey, are you aware of carbon credit accounting? There are a lot of youngsters who are aware, saying that they are bad people. But because they have not initiated themselves, they're not pushed themselves to understand this new topic. So I asked them, how old is this topic in CA fraternity? Someone says 1 year, someone says 3 years. But when I started researching on it, I felt, wow, this is not a new topic. And I beg your pardon to all the chartered accountants. If I'm wrong, what I'm going to share, please do rectify me. Please do rectify me, because I'm a human. I have the right to make mistakes. When I started researching, I found a circular, or rather a guidance note of ICI by the name self-generated emission guidance notes. Self-generated emission guidance note. And the year of publication of this guidance note is 2012. And when I started connecting the dots of carbon credit with self-generated emission guidance note, I was like, oh wow, carbon credit in CF fraternity is not a new topic. It's approx 12 years old. And then I thought, what's the future? Then I connected this topic with ESG reporting, environmental social governance reporting. And then I remember that Government of India passed a bill in the Rajya Sabha known as the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022. Then I got an answer that now, and again, I would say, if I'm wrong, please do rectify me, do correct me. Then I understood that because of that bill, quite possible, the government has mandated the top 1,000 entities to go for ESG reporting. And then I thought, where else can I connect this ESG and carbon credit? Then I realized it can be connected in Section 135 of the Companies Act. I said, is there any other provision which can be connected? And I realized, oh yes, Section 134, Director's Responsibility Statement can be connected with this topic, where the organization has to give a disclaimer and its disclosure for the conservation and consumption of energy. And there's a clause, it says, the company who are using alternate source of energy, they also have to give disclosures and disclaimers. So this is how the art of logics, the art of rationalizing will help you to chart out the path for finding the solution. Now comes assertion. I did it right now. The assertiveness I just shared with all right now. Some things which I read, I researched, and I knew that it is right. But there are chances I might be wrong. But yes, for the time being, I know it is right. I took a stand. I took a stand. So when I found a solution, I always think that this might be the best solution. I take a stand. But yes, I also challenge my ideas. That what if, what if, what if, what if? This is how I get lot of answers. And then I debate. I debate with myself and with my brainstorming team of right-minded people. And then we have lot of possibilities. We have lot of possibilities, and this is what we call inspiration. I talk to myself, hey Govind, just imagine if I implement this solution. Oh, what amazing things, what amazing results I would get. I feel inspired. I also talk to my team members. Hey, imagine if this is the solution we are going to implement and we are the first movers. Imagine the opportunities we would be having. And based on all these, we start negotiating. I negotiate with myself, either this option or that option, either this way or that way. And this is how, at the end, I zero in on one solution. And I pass it on to my team. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was a small initiative to learn the art of problem solving and critical thinking. And we can use the brain technique for this. So these are some steps which we can use to sum up the things we have shared right now. The first is get clear with yourself what you want to influence or what you want to change, and be a good listener, because if you're talking about problem solving and critical thinking, if you're a listener, people can give you a lot of insights, lot of resources. And then कुएं का मेंढक मत बनिए. कुएं का मेंढक means don't be in a comfort zone. Expand your life, expand your world. When you start traveling, I'm not saying physically, when you start traveling, you start hovering to different places, you start gaining new insights. So your worldview increases, what I know and what I don't know. If you remember, just few minutes we shared it. Then have your points organized by themes. The first suggestion I shared with you all is called think on paper. Think on paper. Imagine if you're going to start a PPT, making a PPT on your laptop, your PPT software gives you a lot of things. When you start to write something, your AI software gives you a lot of things, themes. Your Canva gives you a lot of themes. So why can't you give yourself new themes which are customized as per your needs? And Obviously, be a great storyteller. Be a great storyteller, because when you have learned something, pass it on, pass it on, pass it on, and always ask why, what, how, and also when, where. Okay. And don't do these things: disrespect, disagree, and the time crunching. When you start focusing on these three factors, you will be deviated, you will be diverted, and you will be devastated. And when you are done with the 7 steps, recap it, and at the end, close it. Don't drag it. Lot of analysis leads to paralysis. Lot of analysis leads to paralysis. And this is how, ladies and gentlemen, you can understand who are you, what are your values, how you are feeling, what's your desire, what the courage you have, are you alive, are you feeling safe, or you have facing harm from someone or yourself. And this is how you can become a holistic personality, focusing on one aspect, and that is called the solution. When your entire universe start focusing on the solution, and it is rightly said ना, इतनी शिद्दत से चाहो उसे कि पूरी कायनात तुम्हें उसे मिलाने की साजिश रचने लग जाए. This is a beautiful book. If someone loves to read books, there's a beautiful book by Paul Coelho called Alchemist. This line is from that book: the entire universe will conspire against you to help you achieve your dreams. Now comes two areas: the circle of concern and the circle of influence. And as humans, I told you, we're very amazing. We are always heading towards which we can't control. Earlier, it was what I know and what I don't know. And now, what I control and what I don't control. Simplistically, if I say these two areas of our life, the first is very simple. The first is really simple. What is in your control? The circle of influence. This is the first one. The circle of influence, where you have control. Start focusing on the things which you have control first. This is the micro things which you need to understand, that these are the areas where your strength and your weaknesses you can understand, because all the strength and weaknesses comes from the things which you have influence into. I have got a muscle, this is my strength, I devoted time and energy for this. I'm not good in a language, that's my weakness, because I didn't focus on it. So this is my circle of influence. The second part is called the circle of concern. पता नहीं कौन सा गवर्नमेंट बनने वाला है, पता नहीं यूएस में what Biden is doing, I don't know where the rainforest in Amazon is declining. I'm not saying these are the areas you should not be thinking of, but yes, you have no control on these areas. But at least I can control my study table or my work desk. What are the things I'm placing on my desk? Is it scattered? If it is scattered, I need to arrange it, because if it is scattered, my time will be wasted. Rather than focusing on this particular area, imagine I'm focusing, oh my goodness, what is happening in the Milky Way galaxy? And it will, like, I'll be thinking for eternity. But if I start focusing on rearranging my desk, it can be done within 5 minutes. And then I can be focusing on my concerns, my area of influence. I need to do a task. I need to create a sheet. I need to give a data to my client. Start focusing on these areas, because these are the areas which you control and you can get solutions out of it. And when you are developing, when you are growing, then definitely your circle of influence will also grow. Imagine yourself, you have become a consultant, one of the biggest consultants of ESG, environmental social governance. And now you could see your circle of influence now includes the rainforest also. You could see that your circle of influence includes the industrial waste also, because now you are the consultant. You can guide your customers, your clients, how to cater to these areas. But right now, if you are starting from point zero, you have a very limited circle of influence. Don't bother right now at this juncture of time with the circle of concern which you can't control. So grow yourself, and this is how your circle of influence will also grow. And for that, I have a very amazing technique. This is a concept taken out of a book, and the book name itself is The Six Thinking Hats. The hats which we wear on our head, and the head contains the brain. The brain, which people usually say is the right mind and the left mind, the logical mind, the reasoning mind, the creative mind. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm just a human. I just use my brain to think. I use my mind to analyze. And that is why whenever I do thinking, I do analysis, I try to wear one out of these hats. If I'm wearing a white hat, I ask questions. I ask questions. Questions so that I can be very objective. Questions to find out facts, to be more rational. And when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to my family, I'm talking to my stakeholders, I use both the white and the red hat. I wear the white hat to ask questions, and I wear the red hat to use emotions. If someone loves to read books, I would recommend an amazing book by the name of Emotional Intelligence by the pioneer in this field called Daniel Goleman. Do read the book Emotional Intelligence, and then you can understand how to use the red hat. Then comes the black hat, judgment. You all are auditors, not judges. So we are not concerned about what is right, what is wrong. We are concerned more about the observations, the opinions based on the data, based on the documents, based on the analysis we have done or we have been provided with. But yes, sometimes we need to be a judge as well. And when you are becoming a judge, a beautiful program was released on OTT, and the protagonist was Ravi Kishan, and I think that it was Mamla Legal Hai. When he was an advocate, he was thinking in a different way. He was blaming his father, whose father was a judge himself. And then a time comes when he was about to become a judge, and suddenly his personality changes. The first thing was cautiousness, second, pessimism, and the third, sorrow. When you become a judge, you need to analyze, you need to give judgment from a perspective not of only yours, but from different people's perspectives as well. And you cannot avoid the facts and the laws. And to become a judge, sometimes you need to wear the yellow hat as well, because it's all about optimism. And you could see that even the judiciary, a lot of judgments have been given where the convict, although they were guilty, but the judges were a bit lenient. The judges felt that if the judge becomes very harsh on the convict will never change, never transform, and he or she will always remain a criminal. And this is how they used the yellow hat concept of optimism, and they passed a judgment. Although they punished the convict, but they left a door of opportunities open for the convict, so that the convict doesn't feel that all the opportunities, all the doors of his life has been closed. When he was done with the punishment, or she was done with the punishment, one door was opened, and then they started a life full of opportunities, and they enjoyed their life. And then comes the chartered accountant's creativeness. And I'm blessed that I meet a lot of chartered accountants, who have a lot of creativity in their life. I know someone was working with a very reputed firm, left the job, and she became a traveler. I know someone who is a chartered accountant, and he is one of the best theater directors. I know someone, a chartered accountant, who is an anchor in Doordarshan. I know a lot of chartered accountants who are creative and who invent a lot of things. And imagine, these all people, along with their professional duty and responsibilities, are creating something which is adding value to the life, which is actually adding value to all the people connected with their lives. I'm not saying that if you are a professional, we always should be like inside the book. There, I know you should think outside the box as well. You need a green hat. Green hat gives you calmness, increases your power of focus, your concentration. And then comes the meta thinking, the gargantuan thinking, thinking about thinking, where to find the direction, how to synthesize, how to organize. And this is how, ladies and gentlemen, the color blue plays their role. And I won't say once in a blue moon over here, but you can have the blue moon every day in a positive way in your life. So these are the some hacks, techniques which you can use to improve your power of creativity and problem solution approach. Now, this is a piece of caution to you all. This is a piece of caution to you all. Today, we are in the media, we are in the age of social media rather. Today, rather from being real, we are more focusing towards being real. A life, I don't know whether it is real or real anymore. I'm actually surprised. I'm confused because all the data, all the information, everything which has been like poured inside me, or where myself got exposed to all the information, because today information is everywhere. You just click anything, you are being bombarded with information. Use this litmus test. Please request you all, use this litmus test to find the rationality of the information you are using. And you'll be shocked to know majority of the information which we have falls in the last box of this matrix called logically incorrect and factually incorrect. We need to move to the green area where what we are speaking, what we are sharing with others, the information we are sharing, or we are catering to others, our information, our news, our data should be logically correct and factually correct. If you don't believe me, do watch a documentary by the name Social Dilemma. You could see that social dilemma has portrayed that today news and informations are manufactured. We have been bombarded with misinformation. And this is not a new technique. Since humans were born, we have been using one of the oldest war technique, and that is called the war of narratives. But yes, in the world of social media, it is increasing, and we're not aware which data is right and which is wrong. But as law says, ignorance of law is not an excuse, it's a crime. At the end, we would be responsible for all the news, all the data, all the information, every analytical things we are catering to our stakeholders. It is our duty, it is our responsibility, and we are accountable. So this is a litmus test. I request you all, please do follow this. Now, this is a very amazing concept. In management, we call it the Ishikawa diagram or the fishbone analysis. And as a layman, we can call this the cause and effect analysis. And for chartered accountants, I would suffice the terminology called forensic audit. Forensic audit. Keep in mind, the effect is in the present and the cause is always in the past. We do audit not of the future, we do audit of the past. So if you are facing something, any problem right now, definitely the cause lies in the past. When you're just thinking in your mind, you might suffer cardiac arrest or brain seizure. But when you're thinking on paper, this is what you can create, what is in front of you. The problem is the head of the fish, and the solutions are the bones of the fish. And you know the fish bone, the bone structure of the fish is the same what is visible on the screen in front of you all. And the bones are the causes and the sub causes of the problem. For example, if I say I'm suffering from fever, my biggest problem is I'm suffering from fever. So the main cause might be I was exposed to heat nowadays, or else I was facing fatigue, or it can be I got infected, or quite possible I ate something because of which my bowel, my stomach was upset, and it is resembling in the form of fever. So the doctor, what they do, they first tell you, they touch your skin and they see the temperature, then they use the thermometer test to find out what is the correct temperature of your body, and then they hear your heartbeat, your breathes, and if you have some obstruction in your breathing, then they try to find out and analyze it as well. And even if they are not convinced right now, they will say go for a blood test. And when they look at the blood test report, they analyze, okay, the reason of the fever was an infection. You met someone who was having some disease, and that person coughed in front of you, or because of physical exposure you got infected, and now the doctor knows where the cause lies, and because of which the problem, the fever you are facing, and now the doctor will diagnose you. And this is called the proper diagnosis. And the medicine the doctor is prescribing you, when you take it as prescribed, you can see the problem is gone. So this is one of the best, easiest way of problem solution approach. The next is this one. When you have problems, you need solutions. And solutions, you need to go to the causes first. And when you have the causes, now you need to head towards the solution. Now, the first thing is, you all are aware of SA530 sampling. You know, when you do the sampling, you believe that the sample size population should be large and heterogeneous. You always use the word heterogeneous because you're quite aware, if you're using the homogeneous approach, then the sample quality and your evidence quality won't be of credibility. You can't rely on that. And that is why you always choose the option of heterogeneous approach. And that is why the first divergent thinking is the same, where you are thinking from a heterogeneous perspective. You think from different possibilities. And I would recommend a very good poem over here, written by Rudyard Kipling, by the name Elephant Child Story Poem. And the author wrote a poem. I'll be sharing the lyrics. If I'm mistaken the lyrics, I'm really sorry. The author says, I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why, where and how, when and who. I send them across land and sea. I send them east and west. But after they have worked for me, I give them all rest. I let them rest from 9 till 5 as I'm busy, then also breakfast, lunch, and dinner as they're hungry men. But different folks have different views. I know a person small who keeps 10 million serving men who get no rest at all. She sends them abroad on her own affair the moment she opens her eyes. 1 million house, 2 million where, and 7 million whose. So the crux of this poem is, you need to have 6 servants. You need to have 6 servants, and your servants should be quite always busy. And the servants are where, what, how, when, who, and why. When you use the services of these servants, actually you are using the divergent thinking approach. And then out of the divergent, now you need a solution. You need to take a decision, and decisions can't be divergent. Decisions are always convergent. So to take one decision, the foundation should be a divergent thinking. To find a solution, the foundation should be a divergent thinking of the problem, finding the divergent causes. And everything, please, I request you all these techniques I'm sharing, it should be done on paper or on your Excel sheet, but paper is usually the best approach. And along with this, the fishbone analysis and this technique, you can add one technique which can summarize these both techniques is called the mind mapping technique. Tony Buzan is an author who has copyrighted the concept of mind mapping. And mind mapping is always about problem solution approach. So you can do it. And in IT, we call it the DFD, data flow diagram. The same concept which we did right now, I'm sharing in a bit elaborated way, having a lot of content over here. The divergent thinking and the convergent thinking. The divergent thinking areas includes all the things in our life, right from the research design, the data collection, the data analysis, the research synthesis, and every area which you are into, the discussion and the decision. But yes, every divergent thinking should lead to convergent thinking. Then some books, some movies, some documentaries which you all can watch. I have shared a small list of these topics and the areas where you can understand the solution approach, the problem solving approach, the critical thinking approach. This is an amazing list. One movie I remember is called the Imitation Game. The Imitation Game. It's a beautiful movie. And one movie I just watched a few days ago. It was predetermined, I believe, or predestination. Mind blowing movie. Seriously, I can tell you, the moment you watch this movie, yeah, I think it's a predetermined or predestination. Please do correct it. Please do check it out. And when you watch this movie, you will definitely forget Inception movie, because that movie used creativity in such a mind blowing way. At the end, you're like shocked. Oh my God, how is it even possible? So all the people who make movies, who directs movies, who produces movies, they also use this chart in front of you. The 7 dimensions of strategic creative thinking and innovation. The first approach, a managed innovation and thinking process. Keep in mind, wherever I'm using the word innovation, it includes thinking. So combining the non-traditional and traditional approaches to business strategies, I have shared some concepts for this. For example, the 6 hats technique, or the fishbone analysis, the mind mapping technique. So these are some approaches to business strategies. Also, when you zero down to specifically management techniques, so we have SWOT analysis, we have BCG metrics, we have like learning curve, and we have experience curve. Okay, when you see in perspective of learning curve and experience curve, you could see that these two curves, which is a part of all the chartered accountants life, right from the student life, when you start something, when you start studying, when you start developing your profession, you start from zero, and at the 0 point you have nothing. But yes, you have one asset called your knowledge, and that too with some doubts. But when you start heading towards the future in the learning curve chart and the experience curve chart, you could see the rise, the rise, the rise, the rise. But sometimes when some loss changes, then comes a particular stagnancy, and then you learn it, and then again the rise starts. Thank God, in our profession, we have ample opportunities of rising. Thanks to the infrastructure, thanks to the resources, thanks to everything the ICAI has created in the last so many decades, we have become a benchmark of professionalism, because our institute has used all the innovations they could, right from artificial intelligence to arenas of startup, everything. We have been the backbone of the Indian economy, and we are the backbone of the Indian economy till now. And this is what we call a strategic alignment of the ICAI along with their students and members. And this trio of students, members, ICI, and the staff members as well, they have created a good infrastructure of supporting each other. And imagine this strategic alignment has always benefited everyone connected with the main body of ICI. And it is a win win situation. Seriously, it is a win win situation for everybody. And this is how the industry, you could see, has a deep respect towards this profession, because this profession has got a foresightedness. Imagine when government of India started the Startup India movement, ICI became a strategic partner of this movement. And this is how ICI itself started the learning process first, teaching the students and members about the startup industry. And you could see our members and also students have become very innovative, and we have given a lot of contribution to the startup movement, and ultimately we have benefited from it. And I'm happy to share that all the members over here, we try to learn, we try to understand the new emerging trends in our profession, so that we individually and our organization and our stakeholders collaboratively we are developing. And because we have a lot of ethical things on us, we have responsibility, ethical responsibility, professionalism, we cannot go to the market directly. But yes, we know our customer base, or we would say the people who are our user of our information and data and services, they have a mindset for us that yes, if this person is signing this document, then definitely all the problems of my life in running a business are now kind of decreased, because this certificate is going to open a lot of doors of opportunities for the businesses. So your customer insight has actually increased in the last many decades. And now comes the part where some people believe that AI is a kind of bane for us, or AI a technique or technology which might force us to lose something. But keep in mind, as the Pestley analysis in strategic management says, political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental factors, if you are not updated, you are not upgraded, then be ready to be obsolete. Be ready to be obsolete. I'm not here to motivate you, but yes, I'm here to guide you. And I won't be only using sugar-coated words. I don't know how to use it. I just believe in being straightforward. If you are not updated, I'm sorry to say, we can't focus on the solution area in today's technological world, technological competitive world, I would say. We need to be updated, we need to be upgraded. And keep in mind, AI, artificial intelligence, whether you want or don't want, whether you wish or don't wish, it is actually implemented. It has become a part of our daily life and daily chores as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we are heading towards the areas where we'll be winding our session on these topics. We need to be ready, and we need to be disciplined in all the implementation of the solutions as well. This small video where the birds who have not undergone any course of critical thinking or problem solution, who has never been a part of any seminars or any training programs, who had never taken any certifications, but yes, God created them in such a way that they have a goal oriented mindset. They have a problem solution approach mindset, and actually they think in a critical way, and that too in an aligned way, in an aligned structure. And the animal kingdom, I believe we need to learn that some of the animals, they are the epitome, they are the epitome of teamwork, they are the epitome of strength, they are the epitome of discipline, they are the epitome of lot of learnings what we human are learning. So this is a small clip of some birds flying together, so let's see what happens. Now the video you just watched, it was just for few seconds. Some birds were flying. Some birds were flying without any training, without any equipments, without any technology. And a glider recorded them. You could see the synchronization in their flying. And the best thing, you know what? When one particular bird is leading the group of birds while flying, or the leader of the group, if that bird is leading throughout the journey, the problem is that bird might feel fatigue or might feel tired. And this is what the group of birds, they know that after a while the next bird has to take over the responsibility of leadership. And this is how they shift without any orders, without any technique, without any technology. And this is how they fly miles, thousands of miles. The next, when they were about to land, they had no landing gears like the jets and the planes we have. But yes, they knew how to calculate the wind, air, the atmospheric pressure, and they knew where they are going to land. And this is how you could see the birds' feathers when they're flying. Suddenly, the structure of their flying changed, and they knew the art of aerodynamics, because humans, they have always copied nature and the creatures of God to create a lot of things. For example, the jets, they have been inspired from the beaks of eagles and falcons. So the birds you could see when they landed on the land, it was a synchronized landing without any crash landing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I believe is called the problem solving approach. The creativity you have inside, the thinking process, where without speaking something, your group is aware of. So now let's sum up what we just shared. And I would request our committee members and our technical staff and our Dr. Sambit to help me with the time frame where when I need to wind up and move on to the next part of our program. So let's sum up, and I hope that you all are ready with pen and paper. The first thing, the first learning, analyze your life from inside and outside. But the most is first inside. Find out the areas which you control. Then make a list of everything you have right now, the problems you are facing. And problem doesn't mean that you didn't get the brush to toothbrush to brush your teeth. It's missing, or the trouser and the shirt color is not matching. They're not problems. The problem might be, for example, like I'm conducting the online program over here, webinar, and imagine for me the first biggest problem I might face is the problem of electricity. If the electricity is gone, this entire program will be a waste. So before starting the program, I checked my checklist and I find out That whether my internet is working, yes, checked. Second, is the internet Wi-Fi device connected with a UPS? I checked it. Yes, it was connected with an UPS, and this is how proactive approach I applied. That in case if the electricity of my society is not working, my Wi-Fi device would be working on the UPS mode. Hence, I won't be facing the interruption of internet. Third, I checked whether my laptop is charged. It is totally charged. Next, I checked whether my mic system, my camera is working, totally working. Next, I connected with the ICAI portal and we did a small trial. Everything was working. We checked the checklist with all the parameters. Everything was done. And the next, I checked whether I'm carrying my PPT, which I created. Oh, yes, I created because in a webinar, just speaking won't suffice the audience because they need some content, some visual content so that they can capture it for their future references. So I created a PPT and I checked out whether my content was relevant and sync with the topics. Done, checked. So these are a small example of the things I usually do in my life, which I'm sharing with you all. You all can do, and I know I have faith that you already are doing these particular techniques and the checklist technique in your life. Second, find out the resources you have and make a list of the resources you need in connection with the problem you are facing right now. And then make a list of solutions, but before that make a list of the causes and then find out what is the solution and choose one solution which you can apply. But keep in mind that solutions should be specific. There should be a framework where you can measure that that you are heading in the right path and what is the progress chart of your implementation of that particular solution. You should find out the solution you have opted. Is it acceptable by you, by your mind and your team members? Is it solution oriented? And is it a realistic solution? And is there a particular time frame in which you need to implement and evaluate and control the solution you are thinking of? If not, then you need to find the solution from a different approach. And at the end, you need to find whether the specific measurement, achievable, realistic time frame is again in sync with the solution you have opted. Then comes having people in your life. Find out who can be a good resource to you, and you can be a good resource to that person as well. And for this, always keep in mind the line, it's not about like-minded people, it is about right-minded people. It's not about like-minded people, it's always about right-minded people. Now you have resources, you have people with you, you have a solution. Now comes the implementation part. And for that, you need to take a decision. And for the decision, you can use the six thinking hats technique, and the convergent thinking, the divergent thinking, and the convergent thinking technique. And decision doesn't mean that it should be spontaneously taken. Decisions are based on some rational thinking. You need to make a list of the decisions which you want to delete first. And the end, the decision which is left out, analyze it from a kaleidoscopic view, or I would say from a holistic approach. And then question the decision. Always question the decision, and make your people also question the decision. And this is how you can come to the preciseness of the solution. The next part is called, after implementing, evaluate. And while evaluating, use the critical thinking process. Evaluate from a microscopic view. Evaluate, if you remember the microscopic view you used during your school time. Do you remember the lens you used to carry? It was amazing. through which you could see all the things which were very minute in a very gargantuan way you could see, and you understood what is not visible to your naked eyes, they do exist. And this is how you could see the transcendence of your decisions. You could see that your decisions are not just focusing on one particular area, but they will be impacting lot many areas. And then comes after implementing evaluation, and after evaluation find out where is the lacunes, or where are the gaps, or where is the leakage in your solution. And even for this, finding this, always question. And if someone is criticizing you for the leakages, don't get frustrated, don't be furious, don't be furious, accept it in a positive way. And even if you are the one who is criticizing, then keep in mind, don't criticize someone just for the sake of criticizing. If you're criticizing, then your criticism should be based on some facts, or some documented proof, or some data which you are sharing. Because if you're criticizing, then keep in mind it should be a positive criticism, not just for the sake that you are going to malign someone, or you are going to demotivate someone, or because of your malified intention you are criticizing. I remember a Hindi couplet called Nindakaniyare Rakhiye Angan Kutir Chhawaye Bin Sabun Bin Tel Ke Nirmal Kare Suhaye. It means we should have some critiques in our life who can guide us, who can correct us, who can bring us back on the right direction, who can actually make us think and rethink and redefine our life, our problems, our solutions. And keep in mind, if there's someone, you are lucky. You're lucky. Don't insult them. Don't delete them from your own life, because they are the one who are not depreciating your life. They are elevating and appreciating your life. They are not your competitors. They are completing you, and they are complementing you. And the last would say, when you are done with the control part, now restart. Go to a new problem, because you're born as a human. Every moment we have some problems. जिंदगी इम्तिहान लेती है, and ये दिल मांगे more. Otherwise, someone would say, ये रिश्ता क्या कहलाता है? And I would say, at the end of the session, your life should always say, your problems would say, your solution would speak to you, and they would say, ये प्यार तो होना ही था. And as Krishna told Arjuna, Name parthasti kartabhyo trishlokesh kenchanam nanvaptam vaptavyam vart evam chakarna karmani. When Arjuna was confused and he was not ready to fight, then Krishna said, "O Arjuna, O Parth, for me, there is no foundations of performing the duties. For me, in all the three worlds, there's nothing which I can't get. I have no foundations of responsibility, and nothing is beyond my reach. But still, O Arjun, O Parth, I do perform my duties, because if I don't perform my duties, the people who follow me, the people who have faith on me, they would be stopping performing their duties. They would become akarmaniya. So, O Arjuna, O Parth, it is your duty to fight in the war of Mahabharata, in the Kurukshetra. So, ladies and gentlemen, now your turn starts. My duty, my responsibility was to show you the direction. Walking on the path is your responsibility. मेरा काम था आपको दिशा दिखाना, दशा बदलना आपकी जिम्मेदारी है. It was wonderful sharing my heart out with you. It was wonderful sharing my thoughts, my experiences, my views, my opinions, my observations with you all. Thank you very much for making me a part of your life. Thanks a lot to all the committee members here as well. Thanks to the Institute's staff as well. Over to Rahul ji.
Thank you, Govind sir. It was
Thank
indeed
you.
one of the fantastic session I have listened to.
Thank you.
The way you described the criticalness of the thinking, what should we think? It was just fantastic. So
Thanks
I
a lot.
request CA Pradeep Pal sir, past chairman and managing committee member of Bhilai branch, to kindly take up the proceedings for question answer session. Pradeep sir, please.
Hello, thank you, Rahul. Uh, I would also, in fact, mention what Rahul said, and maybe I will further elaborate on that. That it is one of the fantastic session, because I am in the profession from last 20 more than 25 years, and this is one of the fantastic session which we have attended. And thank you, Mr. Govind Mishra. It was a fantastic is also a small word to say. Like, it is absolutely, it was a pleasure. It was very in fact enlightening presentation which you have made. In fact,
Thank you, Pradeep.
yes, in fact, I have a few questions, in fact, coming from the people who have attended, and also the summarization of what you have said as a question.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes what has happened, we have seen that if there is a critical thinking, which is
Hmm.
of course, which is one of the important parameter or important action to take care of all your decision making in a proper way.
Hmm.
Sometimes we see, when suppose, especially I am asking this question on the basis of the practicing chartered accountants. If
Yes,
there
sir.
are people, or maybe even the chartered accountants who are in industry. So when there are decisions asked, or maybe sought from us, and when we start doing the critical thinking of for making a proper decision, that is
Hmm.
perceived by the management as a negative thinking. Because
Okay.
we do a lot of constant mapping. We start saying, okay, if this happens, like you gave an example of an electrical in fact shutdown, or maybe a example of a IT shutdown during the webcast.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
sometimes we feel that when we start doing this critical thinking, or maybe the constant mapping, the management or the client, they treat it as if it is a negative thinking, एंड दे से कि अरे आप तो बहुत ज्यादा इसको सोच रहे हैं, नहीं नहीं आप आगे बढ़िए, आप डिसीजन दीजिए हमें, एंड दिस इज नॉट समथिंग which is you are taking a lot of going deep into the unnecessary things. So how to maybe sometimes they are right also. It is sometimes because we do a lot of critical and constant mapping, and we feel as a professional that constant mapping is the most important thing for a decision making. So this is how to overcome this
Okay.
perception.
Thank you, Pradeep ji. It was indeed an insightful question from you and our audience as well. I have a small anecdote, a small story. So once
Yeah.
upon a time, there was a king. So once upon a time, there was a king whose one of the minister was a Brahmin Pandit, a
Mm,
learned person. So
mm,
the king had a son who was incapable,
mm,
who has no qualities. Suddenly, one day, some enemies they attack the kingdom, and the
mm.
king sent his senapati. Along with the senapati, he sent his son also, so that the society, the kingdom, the people in his kingdom should see that a new king is about to be born or become. But the end,
Okay.
the Senapati was the one who fought and who won the war. And when they came back to the court, the king proclaimed, "My dear friends, my dear kingdom, we have a new king over here who has done this gargantuan task of winning the war." The Brahmin minister, the learned minister, was like, "How is it possible? My lord, he was not the one who fought." The king first ignored. Again, the king started speaking, and again the minister said, "My lord, sorry, beg your pardon, but the Senapati was the one who fought." The king once again ignored. And then again he started speaking, and the minister again said, "My lord, what are you saying? It was not the prince who fought." Then the king said, "Senapati, is minister ka sar kaat diya jaye." I hope this anecdote is what was portrayed in the question. I'm not saying that we should not share what we have in mind. But yes, we need the art of interpersonal skills. We need to understand where we are sharing, in front of whom we are sharing. If you are sharing your solution, your criticisms, your suggestions about the company in front of everyone, quite possible that the boss won't like it. So we can offer different ways and different strategies of sharing also, where either you can go in person or private with the person. Now comes when the boss says, or when the senior says, or when the management says that cs साहब आप तो फालतू का इतना एनालिसिस करते हो. Now keep in mind, Pradeep ji, and all my audience over here, law is becoming very stringent. Seriously, the law is becoming very stringent, and at the end we are the one who have to face the repercussions. We are the one who have to face the repercussions. If we are giving suggestions where law says that our suggestion is required, and if we are not taking a stand, in my presentation I shared a word called assertiveness. We
Yes.
need to be assertive. We need to be sometimes, Pradeep ji, very strong headed,
Mhm.
because the management, they know how to do business, but we are the one, we know what are the laws, what are the nitty gritties, what are the compliances, and what are the lacunas, and where the law might work against us. And that is why we need to give a true and fair view, but with some cosmetic changes. We need to use the vocabulary of English and our languages, and imagine we have numerous words to express one feeling. If I say Pradeep ji, आपने जो बोला एकदम गलत है, ना, definitely Pradeep ji say, come on Govind, यार आप समझ नहीं रहे हो. But when I say Pradeep ji, आपने एकदम सही कहा, but allow me to suggest something which can add value to the balance sheet of our company in a long term perspective without any legal obligations. And I can guarantee you, Pradeep ji, if you follow this suggestion, I can guarantee you as a chartered accountant that all the lacunas what the law tries to find out, all the loopholes what the law focuses that we are might or might be following, or all the obligations which the law believes that we might not be following, have my faith, Pradeep ji. If you apply this suggestion, I can tell you that you'll always be in a positive perspective in front of all the stakeholders. And ultimately, Pradeep ji, today we might not face some problems, today might not face some obligation, but yes, if you don't follow this, quite possible chances that the law may take in a negative sense, or it might impact in a long term on our balance sheet, on our revenues. And sir, if I'm giving a suggestion to you, keep in mind, sir, I have done a lot of analysis. These are some facts. These are some stats which I calculated along with my team, sir, and my team also vouched on it. And we are strongly suggesting that please use it. Don't think कि हम लोग interrupt कर रहे हैं. हम don't think that we are interfering in your business, sir. You have hired us. And it is my duty to tell you that this suggestion should be applied. And at the end, sir, Pradeep ji, you are the boss, you are the managing director, sir. You have to take the call. But yes, I'll still stand to my point that this suggestion should be applied. So, Pradeep ji, this is a small way through where I would have been if in that place, I would have done this way of suggestion to my seniors. So, I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, it was. Thank you, Mr. Mishra. It was, in fact, while listening to you, always, in fact, from last 1.5 hours, listening to, and again the answer which you have given, the reply which you have given, it is. It seems that we can continue for another hour and so. It was. It was.
Thank
because
you.
because this is something which is, in fact, the session can be named as a life coaching. In fact, you are giving the coaching as if towards the life, because this is, whether it is whether young CAs or middle aged CAs or senior CAs like us, everybody on a day to day basis we are facing this kind of thinking process. There's one more thing which is coming, in fact, after listening to you and with such a clarity of crystal clear, in fact, explanations. Sometimes what happens that we suggest lot of things to our client or to our management, that this is the way we
Mhm.
should go. Recently, I am handling one of our client case which is related to the customs matter. In fact, it was very
Mhm.
critical order for them. They took the order, export order. They took some custom benefits. What we suggested initially was somehow, after 2 3 months, 4 months, we realized that it was not in line with what should be there. In fact, it was not the right process. This is
Mhm.
something, even after so many years of experience, there is a heavy heart always after this, when you realize that, oh, you have not given a right suggestion on day one, and after 2 3 months you yourself realize that, oh, there is a better suggestion for this situation. So this heavy heart which we are facing, and then sometimes you can very well understand that this situation further deteriorates the entire process, because you are not very clear in your heart, you are not very positive, you are not very energetic, that, oh, you have made some. So how to handle this situation? And because I'm sure that you would have met many professionals and many business managers and business owners going through all these things. So how one should overcome this? What should be the inner psychological process to make ourselves again regain that situation? No, no, it's gone, we have to again come back to a. So how to do this? In fact, we have seen many movies, na, बहुत कुछ भाग मिल्खा भाग में. Yes, the coach has given a lot of things to him, given a one paper where he has put a target for him. But how to do for our own selves? This is something which is a
Yeah.
very challenging for us.
Thank you very much for having that trust on me. Uh, Indeed, it's a very difficult situation because the thing is, we have made a mistake,
Yeah,
and that mistake is a blunder.
yeah,
And that blunder might affect the future of our client and our profession as well.
yeah.
And because I'm the one who made the decision, that might affect my team members as well. And
Mm,
quite possible, if the client knows it, gets to know it, then definitely they might be losing we might be losing the credibility as well.
yeah,
But you know what, Pradeep ji, the one thing which differentiates between human and artificial intelligence is we make mistakes. It is said to err is human, to err is human. But mistakes doesn't mean that we should make it always. We are bound to make mistakes. And to avoid this situation, the first thing I would recommend is we should upgrade our knowledge base. Second thing, as the institute has provided us a concept of called peer review. Not in a legal way I'm talking about. We can have our own peer review process. For example, like you just had a heart to heart talk with me, Pradeep ji.
mm,
If we have an assignment where we have a doubt, even 1%, I believe that every CA must be having a mentor in their life professionally who have no feeling of competition. So it's better, Pradeep ji, if we are doing something where we have a doubt, it's better to talk to someone. Quite possible that that someone might be having knowledge of the problem we are facing right now, and we can like avoid the suffering. We can avoid the suffering of humiliation as well, and our self pittiness as well. We need to analyze, is there someone who can help us in this field? Because being a professional, we need to be dependent in our circle. Dependence in the sense I'm talking about having faith in our circle. There might be someone, for example, Rahul, let's suppose Rahul had a wonderful exposures in the field of customs act. And when Pradeep ji got an assignment where there was a percentage of doubt of 1%, he contacted Rahul. Rahul will feel great that yes, Pradeep ji has faith on me. So Rahul gave a small suggestion which Pradeep ji analyzed from different perspectives. And then he realized that the decision he was about to take out, there are some lacunas, there are some leakages. And because of Rahul's suggestion, Pradeep ji's idea became more holistic. And then we recommend it to the client, and now we are going to avoid the future repercussions. But now the question generated by you was already the situation has happened. Already the situation happened, and we are suffering from a mental turbulence Turbulence because we had a responsibility and we are accountable, and because of which the client is facing some problems. Now, keep in mind, Pradeep ji, you cannot change the situation right now. Seriously, you cannot change the situation. We have two options. The first, either talk to your client, and it depends on your relationship with the client, because it's very easy to say, because the situation you are into, the problem you might be facing, I cannot understand it. So if you have a very good relationship with your client, try to share that this was a small mistake from my side, my apologies, my apologies. And if there's a very good relationship with your client, the client will definitely understand, because obviously, being a human, being a person, he also must have made a lot of mistakes, which might have brought the company down to the knees. Second situation, if the client is not aware and the bond between you is not good, it's better to keep mum for for a small time, for a small time. And in the meanwhile, try to find out some ways through which you can convey, if possible. Also, try to find out the solution which you have made the mistakes. Is there any solution, is there any way through which you can make the recovery, or through which you can find give a better augmented solution to your client? If there's nothing, Pradeep ji, if there's nothing, then you can't do anything. It's a part of life. Let's move on. Let's move on, because one particular experience should not stop you in life, because
True.
this particular situation, what you are thinking, is actually eating you from inside. And quite possible iska impact might be having on different clients as well, because now when you start giving consultancy, you start having a small doubt on ourselves. So it's better to leave that particular episode for the time being. You can't control it. I'm sorry, I'm very blunt in this. So it's better to move on. Move on. Move on seriously. If the client is very good relationship with you, share it with him. If there's the relationship is not very that much, avoid it. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Govind Mishra. It was really insightful, very insightful. And
Thank you.
so I think, Rahul, the time is over. So in fact, it is now your turn to take forward this webcast.
Thank you so much,
Thanks a
Pradeep
lot.
sir, and thank you so much, Govind sir. Once again, the
Thank you.
solutions provided by you are also fantastic.
Better.
So I now request to see Payal Jain ma'am, past chairman Bhilai branch and current chairperson, to kindly summarize the program and present the vote of thanks. Payal ma'am, please.
Thank you, C.A. Rahul. Summarizing such a wonderful, insightful, and the adjectives may go on and go on and go on, is really a very, very difficult task. But yet, the protocols has to be followed. Everyone needs problem solving skill in everyday life. It assumes a group of skills which, in addition to cognitive, includes social and other skills, helping us to define causes to the problem and to find efficient solutions. So, we use critical and creative thinking in order to solve such problems. This webcast provided a platform for CAs to enrich their problem solving and critical thinking skills. And with such a wonderful speaker, Govind Mishra ji, this webcast has had become a wonderful, I should say, insightful and critical thinking enhancement webcast. Again, to go forward with vote of thanks, it has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful webcast on problem solving and critical thinking for chartered accountants, organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. On behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Govind Mishra, for his enlightening session, and CA Dr. Anuj Goyal, Chairman, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, CA Sri Priya Kumar, Vice Chairperson, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, for their active guidance. Sincere thanks to the event enablers from our very own Bhelai branch of CIRC of ICAI, who enabled the webcast throughout. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. I must say this committee is doing a wonderful job in its first year of inception. Our today's speaker, Mr. Govind Mishra, and other stakeholders who made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us make this webcast a grand success. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
CA Rahul.
Thank you, Payal ma'am. So, I at last thank you to the committee and Professional Skill Enrichment Board, Govind Mishra sir, and all the members present and listened to this webcast. Thank you all. So we sign off from this webcast. Thank you.